These delicious Vietnamese meatballs are really simple to make and they're easy on the wallet. They are bursting with so much flavor, you're gonna wanna keep eating and eating. Hey everyone, I'm Flo, Dude is behind the camera, and we're all about simple food, simple faith. You know, we're all feeling the pinch of groceries going up and gas going up, and just finding ways to save money and feed our family well is what we aim to do here. One of the ways that we are saving money is that we just don't eat out as much anymore. But we miss eating at our Vietnamese restaurants, and this dish is one of them. These meatballs are packed full of flavor and they come swimming in a dipping sauce that is normally served over rice vermicelli noodles, but we're gonna keep it simple today and just serve it over rice. I am starting with a shallot today, and I'm just gonna mince this up. And because I like my onions cooked, even in meatballs, I will generally saute them before adding them to my meatballs. So kind of like having sauteed onions versus raw onions on a burger. Like, I will never order the raw onions because I don't like that texture or the flavor of raw. So I like to cook up my shallots or onions when I'm making anything that's going into like a meatloaf or a meatball. But you can totally skip this part of sauteing the shallots. You can just put them in raw if you like. I'm gonna heat up my cast iron pan to a medium low, adding a tablespoon of oil. I'm just using corn oil. That's what I'm using these days. If you want to use something else, go ahead, but just choose a neutral oil. Adding my shallots. And I'm using the same pan that I'm going to be pan frying my meatballs in, so it's not like you're having to wash an extra pan or anything by doing this. Okay, you can saute them until they're just starting to become translucent, or you can fry them a little bit further until they're caramelized, so it's totally up to you. This is fine for me, so I'm just going to turn it off now. Okay, so I'm just going to take this out and add it straight to my pork. I have a pound of ground pork. I think it's actually lean ground pork, but I think fattier is better. So there's a tablespoon of oil in here that we'll just add to that, which is fine. I have 4 cloves of garlic. 1 is for the dipping sauce, and the other 3 are going into the pork. I am choosing a small one to go into the dipping sauce because I want it to be garlicky, but not too garlicky. So I'm gonna add that first to my measuring cup where I'm gonna be making the dipping sauce. But you can add as much or as little garlic as you like.
Yum.
We just want the white part of the lemongrass inside, and that part is the most tender part. The outside leaves tend to be super fibrous and they can get stuck in your teeth. So unless you're blending the sauce or or marinade, whatever you're making with the lemongrass, it's really hard to get the right texture or not experience those fibers in your teeth when you're eating. So I'm just going to cut up the white parts really finely. I'm just removing the outside leaves so they can get in there. All right, so this is how fine you actually want to get it. That way you won't get the long fibers into your teeth. Now, if you can't get it this fine, just be aware that you might have some fiber in your teeth when you're eating these meatballs. Okay, adding all of this to the pork. 1 tablespoon of sugar. 1 tablespoon of fish sauce. 1 tablespoon of oyster sauce. Okay, we're gonna mix this up and let it marinate while we prepare the rest of our ingredients. And I forgot to add the pepper, so add half a teaspoon or so of freshly ground pepper and mix it in there as well. Or until your hand gets tired.
That's a good gauge.
That looks like enough. Okay, I'm going to set this aside while we prepare the remaining ingredients and let it marinate. Making our sauce now, adding half a cup of warm water. And remember, that's my garlic that's floating around in there. I'm adding also 1/4 cup of sugar. I'm just going to dissolve this first. Right, I have 3 limes here. I don't know if I need all 3, but they say that if you keep them at room temperature or heat them up and roll them to soften some of the, I guess, what do you call them? That pulp inside a lemon or lime or orange. Anyways, the pockets of juice is supposed to like give more juice. I don't know how that is. We need about 1/4 cup of lime juice. So let's see how juicy these limes are. It's hit and miss here, guys.
Mostly miss.
This one's not bad. Might need all 3, but we'll see. Look at this one.
Maybe a 4th.
All right. Just enough.
Seriously?
Just enough for a 1/4 cup of lime juice that I asked for. And 3 tablespoons of fish sauce. And I'm going to cut up a Thai chili. This is a red Thai chili. I'm going to put some of it in the sauce. Maybe just half, like that. I don't even want to touch it.
Oh, I touched it.
That will just heat up the sauce. You can pick out the chilies before you digest them, or you could eat them, totally up to you. I'm cutting up the rest of this chili to use as garnish after. Right, now the fun part, making the meatballs. So you can make them as big or as little as you like. We're gonna flatten them out a little bit so that they're not round, which makes them easier to fry. But you do want to make them about the same size so that they all cook evenly. Uh-oh, it's gonna be a mini one.
You mean the size of an actual restaurant meatball?
Seriously, right? So in a restaurant, you're gonna get about, I don't know, 6 little meatballs like this swimming in your sauce. And you're gonna pay like $18 for your meal. This whole meal will be under 10 bucks for sure to feed a family of 4. Heating up the pan to, I'm gonna say a medium high if you want. Okay, I'm adding a tablespoon of cooking oil. And we're gonna have to do this in batches. And if you want, you can also throw these on a grill to get some extra flavor on there. That would be super yummy.
Oh yeah, that char.
Or even just like make bigger patties so that if you're throwing it on the grill, it doesn't like fall in your grill. Okay, flipping them over. You're gonna cooking them for about 2 to 3 minutes on each side until they're golden. And maybe a medium heat is good enough. When you finish doing the second batch, you can add it to the first. It smells delicious. All right, just setting that aside. Once you're ready to plate, you can add your meatballs to a single serving bowl and add your sauce. And remember to taste the sauce and make sure that it's something that you like. You can adjust the flavor by adding more sugar or fish sauce or even water if it's too intense. We're gonna put this on a plate with all of our other fixins. We have rice, some cilantro, some cucumbers, bean sprouts and just a little salad of lettuce and tomato. And normally in a restaurant, you get it with the rice vermicelli noodles. And this is some pickled daikon. Usually in the restaurant, you'll get pickled daikon and carrots, but I don't really like the carrots pickled. So I pickle my own daikon, and you can just add a little bit of this if you happen to have some, or if you wanted to make some for this particular dish. And just serve it alongside it. Are you all ready for?
Yep. As Flo was talking about earlier, going out to eat isn't as economical anymore. But that doesn't mean that you can't have amazing food at home. As we've shared on the last couple videos, it's like cheap eats, literally, but it doesn't mean the food needs to taste homogenous. You can have all these flavors, even different cuisines, and it still tastes incredibly good at a budget. All right. This is one of my dishes that I order at the restaurants that offer it. Bun Cha Hanoi. Excuse me for any butchering of pronunciation. But you have all this to go on, and today we're having it on rice with the sauce. You can use it as dressing for the veg, and of course drenched in that rice with that meat. So I'm just gonna have a little bit of the pickled daikon with the rice. I won't put too much stuff for the perfect bite because that's gonna overload my mouth. More importantly, how does this taste? This is not your average meatball. Wow, pop of flavor. Ooh, party in my mouth. And that's just with the meatball. The texture, right? It's cooked awesomely, and you got all those flavors melded in there. The shallots and garlic and whatnot, the fish sauce in the meat. So it's already well seasoned. So you have the freshness of the veg, you have the contrast with the acidity and spiciness of the sauce and meat, and depending on how much you put in the raw chili in there, and together it makes a fantastic bite. Oh yeah. So good.
All right, thanks, dude. This is such a fun and healthy dish to eat. Every bite is different, exploding with flavor. You can use a fatty pork. I used the lean pork today. You can use ground chicken or turkey. It will be delicious however you make it. For more cheap eats, check it out. I will see you over there.